Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all. So what am I doing today? I'm going to be improving the clarity of the alchemy system. I have a plan for that. I've actually already done some prototyping as I've shown in the Discord, so I think today is largely just going to be about fixing that up, getting that finished. Well, maybe not finished. I mean, there's still quite a bit to do, but just generally getting some progress done on that. So we'll see. And I'll explain everything about that in just a second. But before I get into it, I want to remind everyone that Alchemortis is available for playtesting now. So if you head on over to the Steam page, click Request Access, you'll get right in to the game. You'll get immediate access. And yeah, let me know what you think. You can join the Discord, leave your feedback. You can also join on Patreon if you want to support the development. If you subscribe at the top tier here for at least 1 month, I will send you an Alchemortis Steam key when the game launches, and your name will be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits. So this is a great way if you're interested in the game, if you like the playtest, if you think you're going to buy it, this is like a pre-purchase, and your name will be mentioned in the credits as a thank you for supporting early. And you can also check out my Udemy courses. Those are linked below. These will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. All right, enough with the ads for now. Hello, Necromantic. Good morning to you. Welcome back. Hello, G. Whittington. Good to see you. Welcome back to you as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so this alchemy thing that I'm doing. So I got a number of comments from this playtest that players were not really understanding what was happening with alchemy. And we're looking for more clarity around that. And I was thinking, well, how do I actually do that? You know, there's a couple of approaches. One approach is just throw up a wall of text in a tutorial and just ask the players to read a wall of text. But I was wondering if there was like a more intuitive way to display or communicate what's happening. And so I think I'm getting there. So the change that I'm making now, so we've got, when I put something into the alchemy pot, there's a little wispy that goes up. And when I take it out, there's a little wispy that comes out. And so the wispies, the little wisp ghost things that fly out of the cards as you put them in and take them out, those actually represent abilities from that card or from that item that are being added to the ability pool. So if I hover over this little orb gemstone thing, whatever here, this tells me what the ability pool is. So this tells me all of the abilities that are essentially available to be distributed to items, items in the pot, right? So that's basically what I've got. So the idea is, you know, we have those wispies. They kind of indicate to the player that something is happening, right? Like there's two coming out of this guy. What is happening? You look here, you go, oh, it's his abilities are in the ability pool now, right? And I may segment this ability pool by item as well, so you could see like which items are contributing what. But so yeah, that's just more of like a visual indicator of like what's actually happening. And you could also see like what is the sum total of all the possible abilities that can be like redistributed. So that's step one. The next step is going to be more clearly showing in the tooltips which abilities are potentially going to be replaced. So, you know, obviously this says two abilities will be replaced, but I want to do some kind of effect on the tooltip itself that actually indicates which abilities could potentially fall off of the item. And then the next thing to do also, or another thing to do, is I want all of those wispies from the ability pool. So however many abilities end up getting distributed when you click the pot, I want those to fly out of this thing and go into the pot, right? So to kind of like solidify that loop, you have all those wisps going from that pool into the pot. And then when items come out, you can see, of course, the animation. This already exists, but you'll see the animation showing what has changed, etc. And also, I think it would be fun to actually do some wisps for corrupted abilities as well. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm hoping that this will make things more clear for the player. If not, I don't know, we'll figure out something else, but I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. And then also the other thing I forgot to mention is I'm going to add like some kind of pop-up dialog window when you click on this, which will allow you to read more about like what the ability pool actually is. So anyway, I hope that works. I hope that works. If it doesn't work, then I don't know, whatever. But like I said, I think what I'm trying to avoid is I'm trying to avoid doing something that's like a wall of text, right? I'm hoping that when a player who is new to Alchemy brings this over and sees those wisps go up there, they're gonna be like, what is that? And then they hover over it and they see the ability pool, right? So it's like a very visual indicator, and there's, you know, the wisps are equal to the number of abilities that an item is contributing. So if I see 2 wisps come out of this and I go, wait a minute, oh, it contributed 2 abilities, right? And there's 2 wisps there, but I put this guy on, it's only 1, right? So anyway, hopefully that works. I don't know if it will, we'll see, but it looks cool, and I might keep it even if it doesn't really work to do what I'm trying to do. Hello, Fire Blast, welcome back. Hello, V, good to see you. Fire Blast, Fire Belly. Hello, Hive B, welcome, good morning to you. Johan, oh yes, Clarity. I saw your message in the feedback channel. I'm really glad that you're liking how Alchemy is feeling now. That's very good to hear. Very good indeed. All right, so what do I need to do? I don't know. I still have a lot of stuff to do here. Play wisps going into the point when Alchemy commences. I think this was supposed to be pot. Play wisps going into the pot when Alchemy commences. Okay, so how do I want to do that? Now I got to remember what I was doing late last night. Alchemy pool. So let's go to the Alchemy drawer. Okay, so we've got the Alchemy pool button here. We've got the Alchemy pool, which actually has 2 responsibilities. It drives the tooltip and it actually keeps track of all the pooled abilities. So what I need to do is I need to listen for abilities like, I need to listen for Alchemy, I guess. So let me think about this. Do I have like an Alchemy started? Let's see, Alchemy container. Emit Alchemy started. All right, so do I have emit alchemization finished? Hot animation player, play anim click. Set Alchemy result. Where is the spoon? Set Alchemy result. Oh, okay. So actually, I probably want to listen for alchemization finished. Let's see. So if I go to my Alchemy ability pool here and I say game events dot instance dot connect to alchemization finished. Why does that word look weird to me? Connect to alchemization finished on alchemization finished. Okay, so on alchemization finished. So wait, now I actually, oh shoot, wait a minute. I need different data here. So if I want to show the wisps for the exact amount of abilities that were transferred, but also for every corrupted ability that was transferred, that means that I actually need the alchemy result. Oh, that's going to be a little bit tricky. Alchemization finished. Alchemy results. Oh, maybe not. Alchemy output result. Alchemized cards, alchemy output result. So card, new composed abilities. Okay. Is new corruption, is new legendary, new ability slot count. So I have this alchemy result actually. So, do I have a reference to the alchemy container in here? I do. So what I may do is I may alchemy result, alchemized cards, consumed input card. I don't know if the timing on this is going to be correct, but what I will do is I will do a public event action, I read only list, alchemy input config dot alchemy output result, alchemy results. Oh, now I'm getting lost again. Cool. Why is this class so dang huge? Here, alchemized cards. Do I want to just put this, set alchemy result? Alchemy results by card. Do I need that? Let's just do this for now. Alchemy results created dot invoke alchemy results. Okay. I think it just needs to be even more clear that you're expecting to empty the cauldron inventory after alchemizing. Yeah, I could do that. I just downloaded the playtest. Really excited to check it out this weekend. Thank you, G. Whittington. I appreciate that. I need to actually do the playtest instead of just watching. That's okay. Watching is good too. The animation and foreground background animation helps, but maybe make the inventory frame flash periodically or something. Keep forgetting that even though I know how it works. Hello, Eagle. How many playable classes will there be in release? 6. Is it 6? Yeah, it's 6. Just got the C# Udemy course, so looking forward to diving into it. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. I have a question. Do you think it's a good idea, like for my game working system works like visual script to make passive and content in general more easy, like conditions and commands using resources? Working system works like visual script. I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying, HiveB. It sounds like what you're saying is that you have created a visual scripting system to create content for your game. Am I misunderstanding? I think the gist of the question. Okay, yeah. So I think generally speaking, like if you're going to make a very content heavy game, then yeah, building a bunch of tools for yourself to very easily create new content is a good idea. I think using custom resources to define everything is a good idea. I'm using custom resources to drive a lot of the systems in my game. So a lot of the systems are kind of using the custom resources almost as like a database where, I just scan the file system at startup and I see like what are all the card resources, and then I sort them into their various loot tables and whatnot at runtime. And I think that's a very, very nice thing to do because my systems are set up such that when I add a new card to the game, there's only a handful of things that need to happen, right? I just need the resource, the custom resource that defines the basic stats of the card. I need the art, obviously, and I just need a card script for it, right? But everything else in terms of like, where does the card appear in game and how does it work with everything? Like that's all defined either in the card resource or in the card script. So like anything that's like specific to the card is only defined in those two places. And the rest of the system is designed to just pick that up and sort that and put that into the right places automatically, right? I think it's a very, very good thing to do. Like it's I guess you could say it's kind of like a data first approach, right? Where you've just got some configurable data and then your system just agnostically handles that. Like my system, my registry systems don't care what each individual card is doing, except for like reading certain properties to understand, like, do I need to put it in this loot table, or do I need to put it in this loot table, or is it part of an unlock step, so it should be excluded from a loot table, right? But I think that's a good idea for sure. Pretty much the same approach for my game. At runtime, I search for all the monsters to create the monster decks out of resources. Yeah, I think it's a very nice thing to do. Alchemy results created dot invoke. Okay, so alchemy ability pool. Alchemy container dot alchemy results created plus equals on alchemy results created. Private void on alchemy results created. Okay, so we're gonna need to son of a biscuit. Is this in the right spot? I don't want this anymore. Does this have a reference to the alchemy container as well? It does. Alchemy data changed. Update log state. Alchemy data changed. Shoot. Maybe I'll do it in here. Okay, let's do alchemy. Nope, I need alchemy container. Alchemy container dot alchemy results created plus equals on alchemy results created. All right, so I actually don't know how this is going to work. Private void on alchemy results created. This would be I read only list. Alchemy input config dot alchemy output result results. Okay. So now I need to break down is equal to results dot count. No, why? I don't want to do the freaking certificate. Whatever that is. Count. Let me use link. Thank you. X dot new composed abilities. Is there like a... Well, maybe I could do this. Results dot select many x dot new composed abilities dot count x dot is corrupted ability. Okay. Var new ability count is equal to results dot select many x. So maybe I'll just merge these. So we'll do var all new abilities is equal to that. We probably want to do a to list, so we avoid the double enumeration issue. All new abilities dot count x. What if I should do one for... I wonder if I should do one for legendary, like have a little legendary ghost that sneaks in there, so if you're paying attention, you know beforehand if you're getting a legendary or not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Create ghost. Center global position, get card self func. Okay, so I'm actually gonna need get card self func. Return, okay. So I'm actually gonna need the position of the alchemy. I'm gonna go figure out how to get that data. Oh my gosh, this is a mess. Alchemy container. I need some kind of destination, card drop target. Okay, so can I grab that? We might as well just put that as a public. Yeah, let's just do, why is this here? Let's do that. Like seriously, dude. You gotta organize your freaking code. Come on. Public vector2 card drop global position card drop target dot global position. So we've got the alchemy container. So when I go to create this ghost, get rid of this. We don't need that here. Okay, so let's do private func vector2 get pot position func. I actually don't think that's probably not super necessary, but that's okay. Do I really need to do this? I don't think so. Maybe I just went overkill here. Okay, let's just create private void create results ghosts int count. Let's just call that down here. I is less than count I plus plus. Okay, var ghost equals create ghost dot play destination func. So from position center global position alchemy container dot card drop global position float delay. What am I doing for the delay up here? 0.06. Okay. Maybe I'll pull that out into a constant. Ghost spawn interval 0.06. So now let's figure out everywhere I'm using that. Well, this is gonna not work great, but okay. And this would be I. Well, we can see what happens. Comically large coffee cup. It is comically large, yes. It also has comically, like, a dead guy on it. Oh. Some kind of, like, undead mystic. It's kind of cool. Also making the system helps avoid code repetition. Yes, that's true. From a comically millennial coffee brand. Yes, it is from a comically millennial coffee brand. It is very much true. Tell me about the 90s, Grandpa. Well, back in the PlayStation 1 days, we had games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon. Well, there are a lot more custom songs and commercials for sure. From Anoida Hyperfocus to Alchemortis. Nice. What's MTV like, Grandpa? I feel like millennials really like Harry Potter. Oh, I like Harry Potter. I mean, I wouldn't say like I love Harry Potter, but I spent many, many, many hours as a young, I don't know, I would have been probably like 11 or 12. Spent many hours in the summer reading Harry Potter. Like I could read 150 pages a night. Like my parents would have to come in. I'd still be up at like midnight, which, you know, for a kid when you have to get up for school is quite late. My parents would come into my room and have to tell me like, you have to stop reading, go to bed. It's kind of funny. And now I hate reading. How fun is that? I blame the phones, the smartphones. They giga-fried my brain. Okay, so on Alchemy results created. Create result ghosts. Well, let's see if it works, I guess. One of my main goals in life is to make a retro platformer like Spyro and Crash. Yeah, I think there's definitely room for that. Like, something that's weird to me is that, you know, there's been this, I mean, maybe the trend is like old now, but there was a trend a couple years ago to like make these new like mascot platformers, right? But everyone's making these low poly like PS1 inspired games, and I have yet to see like a mascot platformer that actually like looks like the old PS1 era. It's like, that seems like the most obvious free money ever to me, but I guess platformers are hard to make too. Like, especially mascot platformers where you need to have like an endearing character and coherent world and all that stuff. Homestar Runner forever. Pretty sure the Millennium Bug crash actually happened. We're just living the consequences. Maybe. I hate reading live streams of self-reading for hours every day. What's your ring made out of? I'm in the market, but I hate jewelry. Oh, my ring's just white gold. That's all. Very basic male wedding ring. White gold because my wife's engagement and wedding rings are also white gold, so they match. Millennials are too obsessed with Harry Potter. The effort involved from the animation side for mascot platformer is tough. There's one called Bomb Bun. Okay. I guess I'm not up to date on all that stuff. You know what's weird about being an unk? I can't believe I just said that. But it's weird to have experience like when smartphones actually started becoming a thing, right? Because the first, the iPhone released in, what was it, like 2007 or 2008 or something? So like I was in 7th or 8th grade before smartphones even really became a thing. And now I have a little bit more sympathy for my parents who didn't grow up with internet and then saw the internet become a big deal. The smartphone becoming a big deal is kind of like, I feel like it's kind of similar, right? Like this big technological advancement that you went your entire life without until it suddenly burst onto the scene. Mascots require so much animation. Yeah, that's true. Everyone would be too obsessed with Harry Potter if they grew up while it was being written. Or fat iPhones, yeah. I remember like, it was like an iPod Touch or something. I remember my dad being so impressed that there wasn't a spinning disc in like the storage. It was like solid state storage, right? And now I've got a 4 terabyte NVMe drive that's like 2 inches wide. We unks now, guys, yeah. Millennials have seen a lot of wild tech, internet, smartphone, AI, yeah. I'm late Gen Z and sort of in the same boat. So many CDs with tons of images, all my anime crushes have just had to store for posterity. Yeah. I remember, does anyone remember the Facebook poke days? You would actually like get on the computer and you'd go to like your crush's Facebook page or whatever and just like click poke and then you'd be like, oops, I didn't mean to click that, hee hee. Those were the days. They get to see all the world pre all this crazy stuff, yeah. Not the buddy poke. Yeah. Yep, yeah. So many marriages came from pokes, yeah. See, we were the trailblazers, right? No one knew how to act on the internet when it first came out, so a lot of us made fools of ourselves. The Zoomers are standing on the shoulders of giants, that's for sure. I hope everyone's back is holding a bouquet. Oh, that's pretty dope, actually. Okay, all right. Let's try this again. I'm gonna have to change the... Okay, I think it needs to start like a quarter of a second earlier, which is going to be the hard part, but... Let me see if I can count the number of wisps that come in. Was that 5? It was 6, okay. Make sure to do your stretches. It's easy for Zoomers to act all cool now that we have showed by example exactly what not to do. Yes, precisely, precisely. We had to suffer generational aura loss so the Zoomers could do aura farming. Zoomers are almost 30. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm like a very late millennial, so I'm doing a little bit of stolen valor, but that's how old you are. Yeah. I didn't even acknowledge new generations existing. Zoomers have been in the workforce for like a decade. Yeah, that's true. I'm 22, but we don't have any internet during middle school, so I read a lot. My reading vastly decreased after we got internet back. Yeah, sounds about right. Zoomers are the unks now. What does that make us? We're the boomers, I'm sorry to say. The boomer generation is eternal. We just rotate new people in and out of it. Couples who met on MySpace are old enough to have children who are currently on Hinge. Let that sink in. Oh, gosh. Being an unk isn't so bad, though. I was able to experience things like employment and home ownership. Being unk is the sweet spot. I want to go turn into dust. Next generation is mega screwed. I don't envy the whatever the next generations are. I don't envy them. Not at all. Good luck, fams. I love getting old life so much easier in so many ways than say 10 to 15 years ago. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like it too. I don't pine for my youth. Actually, quite the opposite. I'm kind of looking forward to being like a wise old man. 65, 70 years old, and everyone's like, wow, you have so many things to say. What was life like before Anthropic's world dominating AI? We didn't have it the best, but we're not going to have it the worst. We're just out of college, but so maybe people from high school are married with one kid already. Sucks watching the people around you get old, yeah. Yeah. All generations always think they won't be the ones to get the worst, yeah. I want to be an irresponsible old man. Irresponsible. That 80-year-old man drives a motorcycle still? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, V. If you're between 25 and 35, you're in the Goldilocks zone to have experienced the world before AI and the internet yet, and not be old enough to know how to use it either. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Don't even get me started on an AI topic. All right, we don't have to get started on it. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, so that didn't do anything. Actually, that's good. Wait a minute, that's actually good because when I put these in, yeah, I see no wispies, so that means that nothing happened. I want to get both of these guys corrupted though. Let's see. Wait, oh, I'm not clearing the pool here. So I actually need to clear the pool. On Alchemy results created. On Alchemy reset. So that's the pool button. So I need to clear the... Actually, why is that not working? Oh, I'm not connected to Alchemy reset in here. No, that doesn't make sense. On Alchemy data changed. Wait, what exactly is happening here? That pool is not gone yet. Why is that pool not gone? Now it's gone. Oh, it's returning items from the pool. So after I do the alchemy, but then I drag this over here. No, that's not right. Hold on a second. Not enough blood. I'm the developer. Don't tell me that I don't have enough blood. Yeah, this is not contributing its abilities. There's not playing any ghosts anymore. Why did that not play any ghosts when I put it over? Is there some like cached data that I'm not accounting for still? Let's see. No, that worked. Something's weird. Set ability pool. Wait, when is update labels called? Oh, right. Okay, so I'm lazy building the labels. There's an issue here. I just don't know where it's happening. On Alchemy data changed. So there's some kind of situation where if I do alchemy with something and then I do this, and then I put this over here and I put that over there and I put this back on. No, that worked. Maybe it is working correctly. Okay. Well, I guess I won't worry about that right now. So I need to get that animation working better. So this is going to be a little bit tricky because I'm not actually doing the alchemy results. Alchemize cards. Does this actually make any changes to any of the items? I don't think so. What? Collect stats. Get randomized output. Oh, it's doing it down here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is actually making changes to the item. So the problem is, yeah, I've got a little bit of a problem here. So the problem is these animations happen before I actually do the alchemization here, but I depend on these alchemy results to know how many ghosts to create. But I want to make the ghosts animate earlier, which means I have to get the results earlier. And I don't know if there's going to be a safe way of doing that. Well, let me fix the ordering issue first. Let's do just do an effect route there. Private node 2D effect route. So we don't need this. Create ghost effect route. So let's do node effect route override is equal to null. Create results ghosts. This will just be that effect route. Okay. So let's build. Hello, Emerson. Welcome. We don't know how to use anything, but we're in the age window that knows how to wing it. What do you use for encryption of the game? I mean, I don't encrypt the game. I do encrypt the save files, but that's just using the built-in Godot file writing or file reading encryption. I encrypt my game by writing terrible, unreadable code. Hello, Boogie W. Welcome. Good to see you. You do all your own artwork. Yes, I do. Welcome, Dad Grind Gaming. Yes, I do. All the art is done by me. Why is that still not going to the right spot? Okay. That's not going to work. Yeah, that's not going to work. Skeleton. Let's just put this in here. I need to see what the layers look like. I need to put it on that layer. Okay, well. Let's do pool ghost root, I guess. Public node 2D pool ghost root get private set alchemy container dot pool ghost root. I feel like that's not going to work. That's not going to work either. Well, I know that I don't need the effect root anymore. Get rid of that. So I have some layer problems here. So it needs to go into the pot, but I also need it to be above this little pool button. Wait, did that work? I don't think that worked, actually. I mean, it's not terribly noticeable that it's not spawning on top of this. So actually, that might be better anyway for them to just go behind. I could just make it consistent. No. So I need them to like switch what they're parented to. Like midway through the animation. Is there a better way to do this? I need them to go from this button, render on top of the button, go down this way, but then they need to go ultimately to here. I mean, the other option would be just fake it somehow. Let me think. I could just change the Z index. I don't like to do that because that creates problems usually. But I may be able to just briefly change the Z index. Maybe I could try that. This might be one of those uncommon situations where I need to use the Z index. Because it's just not, there's not going to be a good way of doing this otherwise. So maybe I'll just do this in here. Let's do ghost dot z index is equal to 1. Tween dot tween interval. Let's just do like 0.3. Ghost dot z index is equal to 0. I should probably make sure. Ghost. Okay. I see you give good course about multiplayer in C#. Yeah. Well, the multiplayer course is not C#, but I do have a C# course and a multiplayer course. Okay, that's kind of cool. I may bump this up a little bit. So, you know, very brief z-index change there, but I think there's no other way to do it, really. Yeah, that looks fine. I don't think I have any complaints about that. Okay, that actually feels pretty decent. I mean, I was worried about the animation timing, but I think that looks fine, actually. I'm not going to worry about like restructuring some critical code just to get the animation timing to get tweaked a little bit. Of course, the other thing I could do is I could speed up the ghosts when they're coming from here. Actually, that might be the thing to do. Can I change the, let's see. Ghost.play, delay. What if I did like a float outspeed override? Outspeed override or default outspeed, and then I can do outspeed override 0.25. Can you tell where to use null to ensure no errors? Well, generally speaking, I just assume that anything that can be null can be null. I just try to be as defensive as possible always. Okay, that seems better. Let's try it with a bunch of things, though. I guess we'll just add another werewolf. Doesn't matter. Oh, that delay is a little bit too much when there's a lot of abilities in the pool. So I think what I'll do instead is, instead of setting a specific delay, I will do matthewtil.rng.randf range. And we'll do 0.03 to 0.1. So we'll just assign a random range to everyone. So when there's a lot of abilities, it's not gonna, you know, break anything. Okay. I should add some werewolves to my default so I don't have to keep adding them. Debug. Werewolf. So many abilities, but yeah, that's fine. I can probably even make this higher. Have you considered any limitations using C#? Have you encountered any limitations using C# over GDScript? Besides the obvious one of no web exports, no, I haven't encountered any limitations at all. One, two, so that's 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 11. And that's also 5, so that's 16. So yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Hello, Snupbill. Thank you for the IDR 10,000. Very much appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. With the message Yummers. Always generous, Snupbill. Thank you so much. This ability pool is not being cleared. Son of a biscuit. We'll fix that, though. How do you add fields to your project settings debug? Yeah, so it's real simple. You just go to your project settings, and you can just add whatever field you want here. So select a setting or type its name. So I could just do like test stream hi there, and I can make it whatever type I want here. So I could do a plain. I don't know. Let's do string. Click add, and that shows up under that subsection, right? So whatever whatever path you used for it, it kind of organizes it according to that path. So you see test stream hi there. It's in the project settings, and then I can just type whatever I want in here. But I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. So we need to clear. So we want to do two things. We want to add support for like corrupted abilities that show up. And we also need to clear that on Alchemy results created. So Alchemy pool, Alchemy ability pool. I think I'll just go to game constants dot or game events. No, I want to do Alchemy started. Okay. Did you ever try to make plugins for Godot? I have several plugins, yeah. One plugin I have, I don't have it available right now, but I made a palette importer plugin, which allows you to load a color palette, and then it replaces all your color swatches in the editor with colors from that palette. Oops, that's not good. So now I got to coordinate the Alchemy pool button as well on Alchemy results created. What? Alchemy pull button. On abilities removed from pool. Oh, I'm not... Am I really not locking it? Wait, where am I locking it at? I guess what I'll do is I'll just connect to Alchemy started. Oh, I could just do update lock state 0. I think that'll work. Yeah, it is interesting. I like using that for custom settings. Did you have any game dev experience before Gunforged? I mean, just hobby experience, just doing game jams and stuff. That's it. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm hoping that this is going to increase or improve like players' understanding around like what's actually happening in the alchemy. So I can look at my ability pool, I can say, oh, these are all the abilities that are available. And then I got to make it so that the tooltips will show what abilities might be replaced. And then the abilities all fly from the ability pool into the pot, and then you see this animation showing what all changed. I don't know. I hope that this makes a big improvement in players understanding like intuitively what's happening. But of course, I'm still going to add like a little. You can see I have this like information button here. I'm still going to make it so that when you click this, it will explain like what's going on here. Good morning, happy Friday, yes indeed. Hello, Subconscious Game Journal, welcome back. I'm watching this at night. Well, good evening to you then. So what happens if I do something like flint? So this is going to look a little bit weird with the reagents, I think. But let's work on the tooltip stuff next. So I need to figure out how to display. Well, I want to do corrupted abilities too. I want to show a little ghost for the corrupted abilities. So let me think about that. What do I want to do for that? Yeah, anyway, let's just commit what I have here. Whatever. That's a good enough commit message, I suppose. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and when I come back, we'll just continue work on this. So, be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Hello. I already said hello to you. I'm not saying hello to you again. What type of game loop are you trying to make? Is that question directed at me? Is that question directed at me? The game is releasing in like a couple months. If I don't have the game loop done, that's a big problem. Anyway. Okay. So let's make one for corruption. Ghost. Alchemy pool ghost. So here, I'll just have to do some kind of, let's see. Texture, okay. So let's just put a gradient texture on this. Gradient texture 1D. Gradient texture, our corruption. Gradient texture. Bool is corruption. False. Real component dot texture is equal to corruption gradient texture. And then we'll go to the alchemy pool. Alchemy ability pool. No, alchemy pool button. Create result ghosts. Okay, and we'll do bool is for corruption. Okay. Is corruption is for corruption. Create result ghosts. New corrupted ability count, true. Okay. So let's build. Oops. All right, new gradient texture 1D. Interpolation constant. I guess we'll just make it roughly the same. So this would be, let's do red and then purple. What? Am I doing something wrong? No. Okay, let's see if that works. Never try to make a roguelike. Can you tell what you think about it? Oh, what I think about making roguelikes? Well, I'm not the best roguelike developer in the world, at least not yet. Maybe someday, but I think it really is mostly about like, so with Alchemortis, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give the player as many meaningful choices as possible. I think where roguelikes really fail, at least in my experience trying to make them, is when I'm not giving meaningful choices to the player. Like the moment-to-moment gameplay should have meaningful choices, and meaningful choices should be presented to the player as often as is reasonable, right? So you don't want the player to go long stretches of time without making a choice, but you also don't want the player to do things that involve no choice. So that's like, I think the most important thing. And the other thing too is like, you have to let the player do things that makes them feel like they are being clever, or makes them feel like they are outsmarting the dev, right? Like when people post builds in Alchemortis where they're like, hey, you know, I did this machine gun, like self-damage, whatever, cooldown reset build. Or I think Jack was the one that posted like the longest fight of all time where he was like healing the enemy, but also like just resetting all the cooldowns. So just let the necrotic damage kill the enemy. Like, I want those situations to happen because then it feels like the player broke the game, right? The player's using the rules of the game as I set them up, but then they're using their own intuition and understanding of the mechanics to create something that's like very obviously like ridiculous, right? And I think that's a huge part of the appeal. So giving the player some kind of opportunity to feel like they outsmarted the dev or feel like they broke the game is important as well. So I think those are the main things that I've learned from doing roguelike. I think the number one thing is like, yeah, just don't give the player any meaningless choices. Like if your game is just going to be boring. If the player feels like, well, it doesn't matter what I choose, nothing's going to really change. That's not a good situation to be in. And I don't, like, to be honest, I don't know if I'm doing that perfectly in Alchemortis. I think there are probably some situations in the game still where the choice doesn't feel that meaningful. Like one obvious one is like the health upgrade, right? It's very plain, it's very boring. It's like, well, you could choose the free lower health upgrade or you could spend increasing amounts of money to get higher health upgrades. And it's like, it is a choice. Is it a super meaningful choice? I don't know about that, right? Or like with the grow board event, like I added the board effects. The reason I added the board effects is because growing your board didn't really feel like a meaningful choice. Like you essentially had two options. You can add a row or you can add a column. And that's not, I mean, there's an interesting choice there in the sense of like, maybe your build works better if you add one versus the other. But the board effects were designed to inject choice into that moment to make that a little bit more of an impactful decision, right? Hello, Among Us. What are we making today? We're working on Alchemy Clarity, so this new stuff that you see here. Working on Alchemy Clarity, trying to get the player to understand better what's going on in Alchemy, because that was a big piece of feedback from this playtest. Oh yeah, look at that little corrupted one flew in there. Cool. Is it a good idea to have like a main node? I mean, yeah, it depends. I mean, I have a main node, right? The entire game rests under this main node the whole time. Like, so if I go to my remote scene tree, this is the main node here. So I've got all my auto loads here. These are all auto loads. And this is the main node. This main node is essentially just there all the time. And then my run manager is the thing that like manages the run, right? And then everything's nested under that. But when I end a run, this run manager just gets freed. Like all of this state just gets cleaned up, right? So the main node, my main node exists. It's basically just a scene switcher. That's all it is. But it can definitely be useful to have some kind of node that's not an auto load that's persistent always. So that way you can like store some state or pass state around, like, yeah. Which player y'all like in football? Had fun playing the game. Thank you, Aztec Warlord. I'm glad you did. Show your game's loading screen. There is no loading screen. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so the next big thing to figure out is to try to show which items or which abilities are potentially going to be replaced by alchemy. So that's going to be the hardest part, I think. Number one, I don't have an idea for an effect for that. And number two, it's going to involve managing a bunch of data, and that could get very messy. So anyway. Right now I'm trying to learn composition. I have the fundamentals down. I understand it and can believe I can do it correctly, but I'm not very experienced with coding. Can make simple things. I'm just wondering, do you think I should get better at scripting more complicated things over these kinds of things? I think what I would say is that code, it's not a necessity that code has to be complicated. Like I would say that in Alchemortis, there's actually very few places in the code base where I would describe the code as complicated. Complex maybe is a better word, but you build complex systems by stacking and layering on simple pieces of functionality, right? So you can create a complex game by creating a bunch of very narrowly defined and simple components. But when you add all those components together and you glue them together with like a script, that can create some complex interactions or complex behavior without like the code necessarily being complex, if that makes sense, right? So I would say like, no, like learning how to do the small, narrowly defined things is actually part of creating complex code, because complex code, like I said, is it's basically just a pile of a bunch of smaller pieces all working together to create some kind of result, right? So I would say that if your code is complicated, it doesn't necessarily have to be complicated. There's a lot of complicated code that was complicated just because the dev made it complicated, and there's complicated code that's complicated because it can't really be any other way. So yeah, I don't know if that helps. Hello, Eskeltron. Welcome. Alrighty, I gotta figure out how to do this. Ability label. So what I want to do is, let me just describe what I want to do before I get into it so you guys aren't lost. So basically, the little wisp goes into the ability pool. It tells you what abilities are in the pool currently. But you see how this says one ability? Well, this is actually not a great example, so let me do an alchemy first. Okay. Okay, so you see how this says 2 abilities will be replaced. So what I want to do is I want to show some kind of effect on the abilities that could be replaced, right? So I want to do some kind of, oh, that's not great. I want to do something on each ability that is at risk of being replaced, some kind of effect that shows that. And I also haven't decided, but I may want to do some kind of like icon that indicates whether the ability is contributing to the ability pool. So I haven't decided, because like I could maybe make the icon the thing that tells me that these abilities might be replaced, or I could do some kind of effect behind or around the text itself. I could do like a pulsing animation for this, maybe. Would a pulsing animation work? Let's try that. So let me go to my ability label. Public void pulse icon. Var tween equals create tween. Tween dot tween interval 0.5 seconds. Tween dot tween action. Visual utilities dot fade out. icon rect, two value. Let's do 0.5. And then we'll do another tween interval. Oh, let's do also time 0.3. .6. Tween action fade in over 0.3. And then we're going to do set loop 0. Okay. Oh boy. So now I got to go to the Alchemy container. Card tooltip hook. Ability configured hook for pre-alchemy. Ability configured hook for post-alchemy. Empty ability configured hook for pre-alchemy. Empty ability, okay. If is preserved ability. How do I actually get the information I need? Else if replaced ability count. Oh, okay. So I can do else if data dot replaced ability count is greater than 0, ability label dot pulse icon. Is alchemizable. Else if is alchemizable and data.replaced ability count is greater than 0. Pulse icon. Okay. Hello, fellow alchemists. Hello, Evan. Your game's animations are beautiful. Thank you, Lord Psycho. That's very nice. I appreciate that. Feels good to hear that. Thank you. Homestar Runner roguelike. Firebelly is secretly an animator. No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. Trying to make a game that you guys will enjoy. And I didn't even test the right thing. That actually looks okay. These past 3 or 4 days I've been doing small things in Godot and I already feel like I have improved so much. I went from taking like 20 minutes to figure out how to get a simple body moving to something much better, and I'm happy about that. Awesome. This 200 character limit is annoying me so bad. Sorry. That's great though, yeah. It's one of the reasons why I really like programming is because you can notice immediately like when you're making breakthroughs and when you're learning. But also like programming is fun because you get the instant gratification, right? Like as soon as you get something to work and you see it work on screen, like that is a wonderful feeling. And especially as a beginner, like you said, if you struggle with something for 20 minutes and then you fix it finally and you run the game and it works, you get like, I don't know, it's a special kind of dopamine rush that you get from finally solving an issue and it works, you know? Okay, that's a little bit too fast. So let's do... Probably also going to want to... Probably want to do some kind of randomness in here so they're not all... Interval is equal to matthewtil.rng.randf range. Let's do 0.6f to 0.7f. And then var fade time is equal to matthewtil.rng.randf range. 0.4f to 0.5. Did we lose? Get fade progress from step int 3. I just think roguelike is such a bad name for the genre. It doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, it doesn't. It certainly doesn't mean what the name implies, but it's kind of taken on its own meaning. So just hit 40k channel points. Can I redeem them for some future DLC? We're gonna focus on getting the game out first before we think about DLC. What's your game loop? So the game loop is essentially get some upgrades, get some items, alchemize them, create a synergy, go into combat, and see if that synergy works. And then you basically just do that repeatedly until the game... And I mean, the game sounds really boring when you put it that way, but that's essentially the loop, right? Gather upgrades, test your upgrade and synergy against combat. Then gather more upgrades, test it against combat. Gather more upgrades, repeat until you beat the final boss, right? But if you're interested, Skull, the playtest is running right now. So if you go to the Steam page, it's linked below. You can download Alchemortis and try it out. Just a playtest build, so there's some rough things still, but... Hello, Budget Jim. Thank you for the subscription, the 6-month subscription at Tier 1. Thank you. That's very much appreciated. Welcome back to the stream. Why does that feel really weird? Get fade progress from step int. I guess we'll turn up the fade time. Okay. That's really cool. That's actually what I wanted to ask right now. If you have done any playtests or anything, but you already replied, I'm new here. Well, welcome. I'll put download and give it a try when I reach home. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alrighty, let's see. This testing is kind of annoying because I have to fill up an item first before I can see if it flashes. Wait, did I not use the... Hold on. Oh, I know what's happening. Wait, what? Okay. Wait a minute. To value. Why is it fading out completely to black? I don't understand. Why is it doing that? Oh, I think I need to do 1 minus. Yeah, I need to do 1 minus. Is that right? Or maybe just that. Have you watched the Wanders video? Oh, is it up now? It was members only. Oh, it's not. No, it's still members only. I can't watch it at the moment. I'm waiting. I'm actually tempted to become a member for 99 cents so I can watch it. I was just curious. Gotcha. Yeah, Wanderbots, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you know in the chat, but Wanderbots played the playtest. I actually don't know if it's the previous playtest or if it's this playtest. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be footage of the last playtest, which is okay, but I hope that's not the case. But anyway, yeah, Wanderbots played, which is awesome. Why is that fading out to black totally? I don't understand. What is going on here? All right, I'm just gonna... No, I was... Okay. Now, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's just do this. Whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna try to be fancy with it. I don't want the icon to fade totally to black, but for some reason it's just doing that. So I gotta do this again. Oops, I did it wrong again. Why is it fading to black? Something's wrong. Maybe I just have this value wrong. Maybe it needs to be... Yeah, maybe it does need to be... Did I... Let me just try this. 0.8. Gotta love how you have to rebuild and recompile a game to test the tweens. That's the... I love tweens, but the most annoying part about them is, like, you don't know what they look like until you run the game. How it worked that trail line 2D, how did it make it feel so good? So the trail component is a line 2D. So if I open up, so it's just a line 2D, but I have two configurable options here: segment lifetime and max segment distance. And so essentially what happens is anytime this line's transform changes, what I'm essentially doing is I am re-rendering the line based on the stored points. And the stored points are built up inside the process method, but I'm not adding a point every frame. So the max segment distance, this is essentially saying, okay, once the previous segment is more than this many pixels away from where the current position is, we want to create a point in our points array, right? And those points become line 2D points. But then I also have a segment lifetime. So the way it works is there's point timestamps, which is just basically the system time in milliseconds divided by 1,000. So what would that be, like microseconds? So anyway, timestamp stored in microseconds. And I use that time delta to determine if a segment is older than this segment lifetime, and then I just remove that point from the stored points list. So what ends up happening is as this is moving through space, it's recording points in accordance with these values, but it's also destroying or removing from the rendering the old points. Now it's a little bit tricky with line 2D because line 2D points are stored in local space, or they're defined in local space. So what I need to do is I'm storing all the points that I want to render in global space. So I have to do this like stored to local, which basically just converts the global point into the proper like local space point for the line 2D. But that's basically it. It's a very simple concept and it works pretty well. And then of course I have like a width curve on this. So it's just saying basically at the front of the line it's full width and at the back of the line it shrinks in size. So that's how I get the trail. So instead of rendering the line as like a constant thickness, its thickness is waning towards the end. And because this thickness essentially goes to 0 at the end, you don't really know when the oldest points are being chopped off anyway because their lifetime is extended, or their lifetime is expired, I mean. So yeah, it's a very simple approach. It works really well. And yeah, pretty easy way to get some cool effects. Did the publisher reach out to him? Yes. Yeah, the publisher is aware of all those people. Alexa, Wanderbots. They've got a huge list of people that they either have reached out to or they're going to reach out to. Why is this happening? Why is it fading out to black? What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? I don't know why this keeps fading to black. Movement gives me vibe souls. Outing from the card. Vibe souls. It's an AI coded Dark Souls game, Vibe Souls. Oh, I know what's happening. Oh. So wait, I was correct. So this is visual utilities. I need to do keep progress here. That's the problem, because the fade in will reset it to 0 if I don't have keep progress, right? Right, okay. That's why it was going to black. Okay, I figured it out. There wasn't actually anything wrong with the step. Okay, throw those guys in there. I'm going to make this a little bit, instead of randomizing this, I'm going to change how that works because it looks weird if it's too... if it's too... what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. That's okay. So we'll do this, but when I call pulse icon here, I'm going to do ability label dot create tween. So the reason why I call create tween on the ability label is because that tween will be bound to the ability label. That means that when the ability label gets freed, the tween will as well. Because otherwise, if I just do create tween, that will bind it to the Alchemy container. And when the ability label gets freed, that tween will still be alive and may reference something that no longer exists, right? So we want to bind the tween to the ability label so it gets killed with the ability label. Oh, there's a problem here though. I actually don't know where... I actually don't know where this is in terms of the index. Oh, that's not good. Ability configured hook. I think I'm doing something similar though. I think I have some kind of state that I'm using sometimes. Empty index. Oh no, I guess I am. I do have an empty index here. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I'll just do that then. For var I equals 0, I is less than composed abilities dot count dot length dot what? Okay. Okay, ability configured hook, int ability index. Now I gotta update that everywhere, but that's okay. We need to store the index as well. Okay. All of that work just to do that. Okay, let's see if it works. So we should get some nice, even pulsing, hopefully. Okay, so if I put these on here, well, that's not correct. Because it's pulsing the artifact ability as well. What happens if I do add item beast fang? Oops. Fang? So that is a problem. We're gonna change this around a little bit. Move this up. There we go. All right. We'll get this going soon enough. I gotta figure out what to do about the artifact ability though. Okay, well, I think that looks fine. We got to figure out, so this should only really be... All abilities to randomize. Card abilities. Get base... Yeah, so base composed abilities. That's what I need to do. So I actually need to list of base composed abilities from the card. Guess what I can do is I could probably just create... So when alchemy data changes... Alchemy data, where is that? Alchemy data... Alchemy manager, get alchemy data, tooltip data, card to tooltip data. Do I just want to create, get output data for cards? Ability pool. Get ability pool. So maybe I could do, maybe I'll just do a new piece of data on here. Public required hash set, base composed ability pool set. Ability pool set is equal to get ability pool there. Put the ability pool there. Ability pool dot select x dot ability dot to hash set. Oops, don't need the semicolon. All right, so now I have that as part of the alchemy data. So what I should be able to do in here then, I'm gonna undo this because I don't need this anymore. So if alchemy data dot ability pool set dot contains base composed ability, if that's equal to true, then we do that. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here now. So hopefully the wedding ring added ability should not be a problem anymore. Right, okay, so that one's not pulsing anymore. That's good. So only the ones that are genuinely changing are pulsing. Okay. I'm going to have to do a lot of testing with the alchemy though, but... Oh, look at that. It's already working. So this one is showing this ability slot will be filled and that pulsing one is potentially going to go away. So I could put all this stuff in the information screen as well. Like when I click the information, this is going to bring up like a little window that explains alchemy to some more degree, right? But the goal is like, I don't want to require that the player has to read a bunch of text. So the goal is that these wisps will hopefully be a little bit intuitive as to how they're working and what they're indicating. At the very least, what I want to happen is for the player to see those wisps go up into this thing up here. And then they go, wait a minute. And they hover over it and they go, oh, the ability pool, right? And then hopefully they do their own experimentation where they go, wait a minute. Okay, there's nothing in there. Got the ability pool there, etc. So that is feeling pretty good to me, actually. Does Godot not have hot reload? Not for C#. Well, I think there is a way to set up C# hot reloading, but I don't have that set up. I think it's a little bit cumbersome to set up. Last time I looked into it anyway. Pulse icons of replacement risk abilities. But yeah, in terms of hot reload, you can make changes to your scenes in Godot, whether you're using GDScript or C#, and those will happen automatically. So if I go, so let's say that I go into the game here, and let's just say for whatever reason, I've got my skeleton warriors. I don't want to see the ability label, so I'm just going to turn off the text here. That will take place in the game, so now I can't see any of the text, right? So that kind of hot reload works just out of the box, whether you're using C# or not, but if you're doing a script change in C#, hot reload is not automatically supported. You'll have to do some work to get it to work. Love what I see is the ability pool completely new. So the ability pool is not new. This is actually how the game was working under the hood the entire time. What I'm doing with this ability pool is I'm actually just surfacing that information that was hidden to the player now. So this is literally just showing you basically what the backend code has, which is the list of all of the abilities that could be randomized or randomly placed onto items. But now the player has the ability to see it, right? And then this animation just indicates that some abilities from the ability pool are being pulled into the outputs. And then you can see what changed here. That animation exists in the playtest currently. But yeah. Love the additional transparency. Good. I'm glad. I hope. I got a number of comments. I got like 3 or 4 comments of people saying they didn't really understand Alchemy. And the challenge here is, yeah, how do I make Alchemy clearer in terms of how it's actually working without throwing up a whole bunch of walls of text for the player who's not going to read them anyway? And so hopefully this is like a nice middle ground. I think players will be able to more easily intuit how this is working. And again, I will add like a window that pops up when you click this that will go into detail. And a good place to give more contextual help tutorial. Yeah, I think so. So I hope it works. My goal is to get this done and then update the playtest with all this stuff so you guys can play around with it and see what you like about it and what you don't like. But this kind of change is nice because it's like a purely visual change. It's not really that risky, so I feel comfortable pushing it to the playtest branch. So yeah, there's a bunch of extra work to do, but let's see. Let me go to my thing. So show in tooltips which abilities could be replaced. Yes. Show pulsing icon explanation. We want to do an orb sheen as well. This one's done. Okay. So we got some more work to do on this. I'm going to take another quick break though. When I come back, we'll continue on. But for those of you who are new to the stream, for those of you lurking who are wondering what's up here, I'm currently working on Alchemortis. It's a roguelike inventory management auto battler. So you can check out the Steam page linked below, and there's an active playtest which you can play right now. So you can join that from the Steam page. But yeah, I'll be right back in just 3 minutes and we will continue on. Okay, I'm back. Let's do some more work. So a lot of the work that I have remaining to do is basically just presentation stuff. I also am going to have to very thoroughly test the alchemy. And I also might as well throw in, you know, this idea of like adding unique icons for artifact added abilities and add unique icons for projected abilities. I might as well just add this one and check it off immediately. Add unique for innate abilities. There we go, boom. So the idea that I also want to do to hopefully improve clarity a lot is these icons here. So here's a great example, right? So these icons here should be reserved for abilities that are actually replaceable. So these should indicate abilities that could be replaced by alchemy, could contribute to the alchemy pool, etc. This ability is given by an artifact. So this one needs to be a different icon, right? And I did already do this for innate. So innate abilities are not typically transferable via alchemy. So excuse me. So the innate icon now has this square gold icon, which I made it square because I think square usually implies like something solid, right? And gold, so it's a different color. So that very clearly indicates that this is a different kind of ability. And, you know, when players understand that innate abilities cannot be replaced or alchemy by alchemy, that's going to be a very nice visual indicator, right? So that's part of the clarity work as well. So the only abilities that are going to have these icons here are going to be abilities that could actually be transferred or replaced in alchemy. Every other type of ability is going to get a unique icon. And that should hopefully go a long way to improving the clarity as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes though, but legit thing, I played for 25 minutes till I found out that for alchemy you need to use only specific items, not units or random things. Gave me like a wow moment. I'm really satisfied right now. Awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you got that wow moment. Thank you for trying the game too. I appreciate that. That is a great change as well. So I would say I'm glad you got to the wow moment there, but I would say that 25 minutes to get there is too long, and that's my fault, right? So I'm hoping that this alchemy change, the clarity change, helps with that as well. Like, I need to get the players to the wow moment faster. Like, the sooner I can make alchemy click for players, I think the better off I'm gonna be. And yeah, just gotta do a bunch of work on that. Alrighty. Alchemy pool button. Do I want to split this up into... I probably want to split this into separate images now that I think about it. So let's go to a sprite. Let's see. Ability pool.a sprite. Alchemy pool button. Okay. Let's see if I can... Can I do this? Bam. Okay, so alchemy, so this would be alchemy pool button center. This would be alchemy pool button border. The border looks a little bit weird to me, so I might... Let's see, alchemy pool button border. Did I get it perfect? Oh, wow. Okay. So let's see. I might just round this off a little bit more. Looks maybe too thick now. It's probably too thick now. Well, I guess it's fine, whatever. Okay, export layers, save sprite. I haven't been able to play much, but I hadn't connected ability slot with Alchemy until you said it just now. I assumed I would find something in the shop. Oh, okay. Interesting. Do you get alchemical components from combat? You can, yes. Yes, you can. It's not guaranteed, or is it guaranteed? No, wait, can you get it from combat? Yeah, I think so. I think so. You've been working on something for so long, but you have to explain it to someone who has never seen it. Yeah, that's a really hard part of game development too, is like, yeah, you develop blind spots because you're so used to playing. It's hard to look at it with fresh eyes, which is why I think playtests are so important. Like, I'm really glad that I've done as many playtests as I have, because I really don't think Alchemordis would have been as good otherwise. So all you people who came into the Discord and said, hey, I hate this, was actually very helpful. So please continue to point out issues with the game as you find them. Because it is genuinely very helpful. Okay, so the reason why we wanted to do that is because, I'm gonna do a sheen effect as well. So I need to do a mask. Let's see. Okay, so let's do a mask. I selected them. Okay, so we've got that. Let's turn off the symmetry. Why does it look like the symmetry is still pressed? Oh, interesting. Okay, so we got this. We need black and then white. Okay. And it's not gonna work. There we go. Gradient, here we go. Oh, this one's, okay, so I need to flip these. Can I flip these around? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna do radial here. Oh no. Okay. We'll keep that there. Actually, let's make this transparent. Yes, okay. I mean, I guess we'll just try that. That might be too much, but we could try it. We'll see. Okay, so then I need to merge all of these down. Okay, so there's my mask. That might be too bright, but we'll see. I think introducing alchemical components as early as possible would be great for new players. Makes you wonder what you can do. Okay. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Even before you can do anything interesting with them. I hate that there's no romance. Oh, goodness. Oh, gosh. You could probably come up with a better name than me, but empty alchemical slot instead of empty ability slot explains a bunch implicitly. The problem, yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't have to nitpick over the wording, but, you know, alchemical is a tag in the game, and so, like, I don't want to use the same language. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hello, that guy Doru. You're doing this in MS-DOS? No, it's just an A-Sprite skin. A-Sprite theme. Give each character some starting reagents. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. What do you think about that? I need to prioritize what I need to do for the demo. The demo is going to be the next major focus. I really just want to go on the content grind. I really just want to start like banging out all kinds of content, but I think the next month or so of effort is just going to be focused on the demo build and making sure that's as solid as it can be, which means I'm going to have to redo the tutorial. I may have to come up with like a demo pipeline. I'm still trying to decide if I want to actually try to strip like content or if I just want to like feature flag everything. I don't know. I don't need to think about that right now. Okay, so button center. All right, so let's see. Can I do this material? Do I have like a sheen? Sheen.gd shader. So let's do a new shader material here. Sheen.gd shader. We want a mask texture. So there's our mask texture. Oh, you know what? I think I did this wrong. I think I want to outline this if I'm not mistaken. No, I either need to outline it. No, I just need to make it. Oops, I needed to have a 1 pixel border around it. Yeah. Alchemy pool. Alchemy pool button mask. Oh, fudge. Okay, 16 by 16. Is that what this button is? Yes, okay. So they need to be the same dimensions so that the UVs match up, that's all. Okay, sheen color. Look at that. Beautiful sheen. I'm thinking the sheen is a little bit wrong in terms of the direction now. I might as well just fudge. Okay, let's just fix it. Shift G is the hotkey for that. I want it to go from let's try something like that, maybe. Okay. Well, actually, what I can do is I can group those and call this the mask. This will be the gradient. I'm going to try to do this in a little bit of a smarter way here. So we do that. We go to select, modify, expand. There we go. Alchemy pull button mask, export. We've got a new mask. Okay. Yeah. So that looks more aligned because it's coming out of that highlight that's baked into the texture now, which looks a little bit more natural, I think. So yeah, that'll work. It'd be cool if the highlight texture, do I want to change this? Let's see. Vec 4 stepped up texture color. I forgot. Colors. Palette fade up. Okay, so I need to do palette fade up. Palette fade up. Step. Texture color 1. And this will be the stepped up color. Oh, but I need to do... Wait a minute. Maybe that. I wonder what that's going to do. Let's see. It didn't do anything. Oh. Did I mess something up? Hold on a second. Okay. Does that look better? So instead of just doing white all the way through, it actually steps up the color instead. Does that look good or not? It's kind of cool. I might want to do... let's do uniform float step up color. Let's do enable. So vec4 target color is equal to mix sheen color stepped up texture color, and we're going to step it up by enabled step color, and then we're going to do target color here. Okay, so it's pure white when I don't have that enabled, but if I put enable step up color to 1, now it's doing the step up. So that won't break any of the other sheens that I have in the game now. But we can just try it for this one now. Cool. Naive question. With a game engine like Godot that changes quite often, how do you decide to upgrade to more recent versions? Well, there are some people that say you should never upgrade your tools that you're using in development, which I think is, you know, I think that's a... I don't think you can go wrong with that. I think, you know, you start development on a set of tools and you reduce the unpredictability that you introduce into the system by just locking down the versions of everything that you're using, right? But for me, it's like first of all, Godot very often puts out updates that are relevant to my game. So for example, they just merged a fix that causes game lag when you're using a very high DPI or a very high polling rate mouse, because there was just so many mouse movement events coming in that you would get like thousands of these per second, and it could cause lag spikes. So when Godot comes out with that update, I'm probably going to update the engine because that affects players that are using like gaming mice, right? Like if you've got an 8K polling rate mouse, you're probably going to experience lag in this game. So that is a fix that I absolutely need. and I'm waiting for. But generally, like my opinion, especially just being a solo developer, is like I just update to the latest stable Godot version, whatever, and I can just fix whatever issues come up while it's still in development. Now, after Alchemortis releases, I will probably not be updating the engine at all, because then the risk becomes a lot higher, right? The risk is that, you know, a bunch of people buy the game, they're all having no problems, whatever, and then I update to Godot, and now all of a sudden people with certain hardware configurations can't run the game anymore, or a new regression is introduced that actually like breaks something critical about the game. That's not likely to happen, but it is something that can happen. And so once the game is released, I will probably not be updating Godot unless there's like a fix for something that my players are specifically experiencing. But during development, I'm fine updating to the latest stable. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. Very often it's like fine, like nothing happens, but sometimes I might have to go in and like fix like one or two things. So yeah. Poison character gets one of the mushrooms that protect poison abilities. Yeah, we could do that for sure. The pearl is beautiful, thank you. Absolutely be more than white. Did you create the color palette yourself or found it? I found it. It's called Witching Hour from lowspec.com. So that's the palette that I'm using. I think for my next game, I'm going to try to design my own palette. I think I'm confident enough, because the problem when I started Alchemortis, I was not a really good pixel artist. And so I still wanted to just like not worry about the colors, just find a color palette that I know looks good, that I know matches the style that I want to go for. And then I can just focus on like actually drawing the art. But I think for my next game, I'm going to try to design a palette. Like my color theory skills are still somewhat weak. And so I would love to design like an 8-color palette for myself. Just picking my own colors and see if that works. Found it like a scavenging rat. Thank you, VM Chura. I like it, but we have to see it in the game. Yeah. The whippersnappers today got too much of an aversion to stealing art. Us old people came up during the torrent era, so we're built different. Yeah. Next game, if you become a millionaire from Alchemortis, will you make a next game? What genre would it be? Of course. If Alchemortis is wildly successful, like, of course I'm going to make more games. You know? I mean, honestly, I'm just hoping that Alchemortis does well enough that I can fund myself for another year or two. That would be enough for me, because I do want to make another game after Alchemortis. I do have an idea for the next game. The next game that I'm going to make, I would call it like an incremental adjacent game. I'm not exactly hopping on the incremental train, but I think there's, I had an idea for like a fusion of the genres, because an incremental game is usually presented such that like you just get this persistent progression, right? Like you're just making number go up until you beat the game. But my idea is to kind of like use some of those ideas, like make number go up and whatnot, but still wrap it in a roguelike formula. And then there's like one main mechanic that I'm not going to mention, but it's going to be a game that's similar to Alchemortis in a lot of ways. Like there's going to be systems, there's going to be ways to create different combinations and like create ridiculous builds and stuff. I've said this before on a previous stream, but imagine something like Vampire Survivors, but you don't control the character. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Roguelike best, yeah. Okay, so now we gotta actually play this Sheen. So I need to save this. Let's copy this. So this is the annoying part. Now I have to do an export. Private shader material, Sheen material. Okay, so we're gonna paste this here. Oops. Oh no, I did that right. So button center, get rid of that. Okay, and then we need to dim this. So let me get node private button center or sprite 2D. So button center. So update lock state. Private void. dim visual utilities dot fade out button center delay time to value is equal to visual utilities get fade progress from step int 3. Okay, private void undim. We're going to do visual utilities, fade in, button center, keep progress true. Okay, so we're going to do dim and then undim. So we're going to have to introduce the sheen, but let me just see if that works first. I'm making a vampire survival type game. Very nice. PvE games are going to trend. Team PvE. Mind the player's in the middle of the screen and has to rotate a shield in order to kill the enemies that go towards the player. Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I think... So, I understand the appeal of incremental games. I just don't personally like incremental games. Like the idea of, well, the entire point of the game is like you just invest in like upgrades to make number go higher. That's not quite compelling enough for me personally, although I understand what the draw is. So my idea was basically, can I capture that feeling of like make number go up, but require the player to have a more active role and also wrap it in a roguelike formula so that every kind of run is different. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm trying to go for. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think that there's like a genre mashup here of like roguelike incremental that could work really well. Single player games in general are going to be boom pretty big soon as more people get jaded with live service. Yeah, maybe. Useful in games UI when you are fighting. There are small icons, fire, bleed, poison, so it'd be great when hovering over to see this poison. Yeah, that's something that I want to do as well. This has been a problem for a while, but when you add the status icons, they just kind of like float out here. So I kind of want to make like dedicated status panels, I think, or something that slide out or something like that. I don't know. I think I need to redesign this combat widget a little bit because it doesn't support large numerical values here, which is a problem that I didn't think about. So I think I want to just like extend this a little bit somehow, but we'll see. Believe it or not, the combat widget is like the most like complicated UI in the entire game. Like, I mean, just look at this thing. Do you see this? This is the entire combat widget scene. Like, look at all these freaking nodes. And I've got like nested sprites and everything. It's like, goodness gracious, you know? IDK if you know what I mean, or where from the comment, pretty hard to explain without a photo. No, I know what you mean. You're talking about the status icons that show up like here, right? I just didn't see the point in incrementals. I've seen solo games trend on Steam DP2, lots of Skyrim likes. You know what I think is my problem with incrementals is that they don't have a loss condition usually, right? So like there is not the challenge, if there is one for an incremental, is essentially just min-maxing the amount of points you get every wave or every round or whatever, right? But there's no failure condition. Like you could just do the unoptimal thing every single run and you'll still beat the game, right? So that's why I'm thinking like a roguelike formula, which actually causes you to min-max in the service of like actually winning and having this constant threat of like a loss. I think that could be really interesting. In my honest opinion, IMHO, TBH, to be honest. Okay, so this is dimmed now, and when I put an item in the thing, it'll undim.
I want that to dim in faster though. Let's do time. So we got to do the sheen as well. That is the point of incremental. Like I said, I understand the appeal. I'm not hating on incremental games. They're just not for me. That's all. Are there points in development where you had to think about primitive data types, float versus double or int versus long? No, not really. No. Can you remind me what you learned about Steam Next Fest? I think I might try to target the next one for my next game release. Well, I've only done one Steam Next Fest. I did it for Gunforged, and the mistake I made there is you can only ever do one Steam Next Fest. And the problem is I did Gunforged in a Next Fest like a year and a half before it released, which was not good. If I was smarter, I would have done Steam Next Fest and then released the game like 2 months later, right? But yeah, the goal is to get Alchemortis into the next Fest. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it works, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if I can really share like anything that I've learned in particular because I've only done one. So I wouldn't be able to tell you anything that, Chris Zukowski can't tell you, Okay, so that dimming is looking really good now. Oh, the problem though. I think we want to set the clickable control outline target to button border. So actually, I'm going to redo this as well. Let's just put that in there. I agree with you on incremental games. I feel like they give you the dopamine only one playthrough because you already learned the upgrading tree. Yeah. I didn't get who Mike Wazowski is. That's funny. Okay, so the outline target is back. Okay, so I think what I want to do now is I want to play the sheen effect. Let's do private tween, sheen tween. Sheen tween, kill if valid. Sheen tween dot tween interval. Actually, maybe I don't need that. Matthew_rng.rand_f range. Let's do 1.5 to 3. No, that's probably too short. 2.5 to 5. Sheen tween dot tween property. Sheen material. Private const string shader progress. Okay, so shader progress here. Variant final val. Do I need this initial delay? I don't think so. All right, let's see what happens. Too late, I'm already quoting you on our incremental games. Oh no. Is this an older version of A-Sprite? No, it's the up-to-date version. It's just got a theme, the A-Sprite 95 theme. Okay, that is a little bit too fast. Get rid of that. Let's also turn down the delay a little bit. I'll be here all week. Looks a little different, just bought it for my game too. Yeah, it's just a theme. Oh, the problem is the dim is not working now. I guess I do need an initial delay. Float. Okay, let's try that. Oops. So the problem is there can only be one material on this, and the fade out material is a material, and the sheen material is a material. So I was overriding the fade out material. I was overriding the fade out material with the sheen material, but now it should work. I think I might make that slower. No, I don't know about that. I think I probably want to play the sheen when the ghosts land on it. Well, initial work. So I want to play that when the ghosts land on it, actually. What? Oh, delay. Oh, this returns a tween. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's the result ghost, though. Here we go. So tween equals ghost.play. So we'll just play the sheen effect. We'll get rid of this. Get rid of that, get rid of this. And we'll take the material off of it at the end. We don't want this. This doesn't need to be part of the tween anymore. Okay. Let's see if that works. That wasn't even close. That's because, yeah, it's doing that at the end. So I'm going to need to pass in. So many arguments. I don't think I need that, but whatever. Okay, let's see if that works. So I wanted the sheen to play basically as soon as that thing impacts. I think that will look nicer. That feels a little bit slow now. So what I might do is I might do this. Where's the play sheen? Let's do 0.4 again. Let's also go to the sheen material. Let's turn the progress diff up, turn the progress down. Here, let's change this step up a little bit more, make it a little bit brighter. Let's see what happens. It's still not fast enough. Okay, let's do 0.3. GMTK results today. I'll be happy if I get top 1000, but that seems hard. Lots of great games. Well, good luck to you. You feel free to share your results for the GMTK in the Firebelly Discord. I still think that that's not fast enough. Anyone played Mother 3? I have not. Just awful sprites. I think I need a different curve. Let's do 0.4 dot in dot cubic. Just got to recompile every time. No worries. I probably will add some animation to this as well, but I don't want to, I don't know. I guess I should spend more time on the actual presentation, or not the presentation, but the utility of the thing. Okay, that actually looks not too bad. Do I want to turn this up, or do I want to use a different easing? This is easings.net. I use this quite frequently. So I'm using cubic right now. So out cubic is very fast at the beginning, but maybe I should do quad. Let's just try increase duration with remaining or keeping cubic. We'll see how that looks. Otherwise, I could do quad. Yeah, I think quad might be the way to go. Let's see. A little bit less extreme of a curve. Turn it back down again. Just got to play with these numbers, that's all. I think it's looking okay. I'm not sold on the step color though. I might try it with just pure white. Actually, you know what I'll do? I think I want to reverse this. What's feeling weird is that like a bunch of ghosts are entering that first, but only the last one triggers. So I'm actually going to reverse it. I'm going to make it the first one triggers the sheen. That might feel a little bit more natural. Oh yeah. Now I'm going to try, I don't know if I like this step, so let's turn that off. Actually, I don't think I needed to restart the game from that for that one, but it's okay. Okay, maybe I'll keep the step, but maybe we'll just turn this up one. Oh, I guess that didn't really do anything. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the step up color doesn't look that great. I think the pure white actually looks better. Okay, the other thing to try would be to turn the progress diff up a little bit. Yeah, so add some animations onto that orb or pearl thing or whatever. When the ghosts actually hit it, give it some impact, I think. Make it even more noticeable that stuff is going there. But yeah, I think it's looking all right. Oh, we don't want that to dim though before it's expelled all of its ghosties. Right. We want it to dim after it expels all of its ghosties. So right now it dims right there, and then all the ghosties fly out. Also, why does that seem like it's not working anymore? Oh. Well, I don't know. I actually don't know. That looks great, thank you. Yeah, I think it's looking good. I'm hoping that I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day working on this. And then hopefully I can get into a state where you all can play with it and see if that improves Alchemy a little bit. But yeah, it is pretty cool. I like the effect for sure. That's not being dimmed. Okay, so I've got some logic issues here. Yeah, see, it's not putting its abilities in there sometimes. So let me write that down. Sometimes post alchemy item placed back into pot does not play ghosts. Do not dim pearl thing until after abilities are expelled during alchemization. Okay, so we've got the orb sheen. Darken orb when not clickable, that's done. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's like, this doesn't change anything about how the game works, but I feel like it is making a huge difference in understanding what's actually going on. Yeah, really appreciate how much you're putting into the little details. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I like, you know, I want to make this game as good as it could possibly be. I mean, this is definitely the best game that I've ever built in my entire life. Making games since I was 14 years old. And so, like, it would be a shame if I didn't, you know, put as much effort as possible into it. You know what I mean? So, but I'm glad. I'm glad that you are liking what I'm doing here. Okay, let's see. So play sheen when ghost impacts. All right, but that is 3 hours. We've been streaming for 3 hours, so I'm gonna go get some lunch. Maybe I'll stream later. So keep an eye on the Discord. I post my live announcements there. But anyway, you can wishlist Alchemortis on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. The playtest is live, and the playtest is going to end somewhere around like August 11th. So what do we have? Like almost 2 weeks, a week and a half of time remaining. Maybe closer to 2 weeks. So you still have plenty of time to try the playtest, plenty of time to let me know what you think. Again, you can join the Discord. That's linked below. Which program is that for the to-do list? Obsidian with the Kanban plugin. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. I will be streaming tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, but again, if I go live again today, I'll post an announcement in the Discord. Anyway, take care everybody. Thanks again. I appreciate your support, and have a good day. Bye-bye.